The ShelterLogic Greenhouse-in-a-Box is fully set up and ready to go. In fact, it is right now currently drying down some mini firewood as I speak. So last weekend I started putting this thing up, and then I got to the point where I needed to pull the canvas over the top of the frame, and that just went easier with two people. And at the time, I didn't have two people, it was only myself. But now it is all up, it's ready to go. Today, when I came out here right after work, inside there it was well, I don't actually know how hot it was because my thermometer only went up to 120 degrees. So it definitely heats up in there. Now, how that is going to impact drying mini firewood, we will find out. I do think it will, I think it's going to help because this thing right over here, this thing has been working fairly well. I'm going to grab a piece here. We're going to just go do a quick moisture check on this stuff. This stuff has been underneath this little DIY redneck solar kiln here for 3 weeks now, I think. I think it's been 3 weeks that I've had this under there. And I think this stuff is dried down, ready to go. And then I'm going to give you a look inside the little Back 40 mini firewood factory. Oh, it's looking nice in there. All right, so we are reading on the inside of this stuff, oh yeah, 12%. We got the outside, 9, 10. It's definitely ready to go. And just for comparison, I'm going to take a chunk here and check the inside of this. This stuff, yeah, so see, this stuff is still around 30%. And these are the chunks that I split up, or I used the yappa to get the, let's see the outside. So the outside's at 15. The inside's still at, 36, 35. So these are still the chunks that I split up with the yappa a couple weeks ago. So like the chunks like that, inside is still, mid to high 30s. But the stuff that has been over here in my old way of drying things, so using the sun, this stuff is definitely ready to go. Under 15% on the inside. All right, so now let's take a look inside the ShelterLogic Greenhouse-in-a-Box. How I've got this set up for my mini firewood. Oh yeah. So over here, I set up a couple pallets. I actually had to cut a couple pallets in half, just so it wasn't so wide. But I took one of my steel grates. I don't even know what those things were used for, but I set that up off the ground. So I've got, some airflow coming in. I also rolled up the sides. I guess I should have showed you that. So I have the sides rolled up so the bottom, we can get some airflow coming in the bottom. And then I've got this grate over here set up with all cherry. So these are some of the splits that little boss man was taking, those chunks that I just showed you that were 35, 36 on the inside. So he split these up, I think it was 2 weeks ago now. So we'll take, these have only been in here half a day. Well, not even. They haven't even been in here an hour. But we'll just check in the 2 weeks how much like a chunk has dried down. And it's still, we're still at what? 98 in here. Mando has found a comfortable spot in the cool dirt. Over here I've got maple. This is all the maple that I split up when I had the Wolf Ridge 17 VS for a day. I've got that up on a rack. The rack that's over under the patio door that I just showed you with the cherry, I'm going to bring that rack in here and then put that down on the lower shelf of these sawhorses. So I'll have 2 racks back here to put the splits on. And then, yes, I should show that each end of this greenhouse has openings. And my plan is to get some solar fans and hang one in this window, pulling air in, and then one down in this little window, pushing air out. So to kind of create the whole airflow going through this greenhouse. So we got the maple down there on the end, set up on a little rack. And then over here, I did the same thing with some pallets. Stacked them up, and I put all of the bags that I had filled up. These are cherry from the chunks, same as those. And then I had some maple, some older maple, some oak, and another maple. So I had 5 oak, a couple bags of maple, and then the rest are cherry. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19 bags filled up all along the wall over there. We got a bunch of little splits over here, and I'm thinking, see, this is where I gotta do some testing and see. So like the cherry in these bags was split at the same time as this stuff. So I want to see if I have the wood kind of spread out like this, if it ends up drying quicker and better than, you know, if it's in a bag. Because in a bag, you know, it'll do fine with the heat, but it's not going to get as much airflow going through these bags as it would sitting out in the open. So that is that's one of the things I'm going to be testing, is how does it season loose compared to in the bags. These bags on the end here, these have been split for quite a while, so these may be ready to go. But let's just take a piece of this maple. Let's find a good one here. That was split with the Wolf Ridge 17 VS, and then one of these cherry pieces, and let's go check the moisture of these 2. All right, let's check this maple. Still upper 20s, or mid 20s, I guess. 24%. Let's check this cherry piece here. I don't like hitting that thing too hard, because then the pieces fall and fly apart and you don't know which edge is the inside. So this cherry is at 26. Ooh, that side's at 32. So this cherry is definitely upper 20s, lower 30s on the inside for the cherry. All right, so that gives me a little frame of reference as far as now being able to come back in here and check this stuff in maybe a week or 2 and see, you know, if we get a couple more hot days. Like I said, today it got up to 100. Well, when I got out of here after work, it was 120 plus in here. Oh, so it does not take long to start sweating when you're inside here. It is definitely warm in here. And ShelterLogic said that, you know, they have tested drying firewood inside one of these greenhouses in a box, and they've had good results. So we'll see. I'm going to see in a couple weeks how, you know, I know that outside underneath that little patio door glass, about 3 weeks, give or take, and that wood's ready to go. The downside with that is just didn't have enough. I mean, I couldn't dry very much at once. I mean, all it was is that one grate was all that fits underneath there. So if I can get the same results, you know, 3 weeks to fully dry down this mini firewood inside this greenhouse, I will definitely be happy with that. So we'll see how it does in here. I definitely need to have some fans to keep that air kind of moving. Although, I don't know, it's a big enough space to where, you know, we'll see. Maybe just the natural convection currents of the cooler air coming in on the bottom and the warmer air, you know, being heated up on the top here with the ends open. I don't know, maybe it'll work without fans. But it's definitely an interesting idea to consider if, you know, this one is 8 feet tall, 10 feet wide, 20 feet long. And at first I thought the 20-foot long was going to be too big. I actually ended up kind of digging into the hillside back there to kind of make this thing fit over here. I'm gonna actually step outside here for a second because it is heating up in there. So I wasn't sure exactly where I was gonna put this, and I ended up kind of, like I said, digging back into that hillside and getting it to where it fits over here and is kind of out of the way. My other option was gonna be over there. The only problem with that would have been the front corner would have kind of been sticking out, and I just was worried that I would end up hitting it with the bucket or the forks or something driving around back there. So over here, it's out of the way. I think this will work out well to have it situated right here. So the ShelterLogic Greenhouse-in-a-Box all set up, stocked with mini firewood, and the seasoning process has begun. But I can tell you so far, just from being in there, both putting it together and then moving all that wood in there today, it gets warm. So the heat is going to be a big factor, just like over there underneath that patio door, the glass. And I think with the mini firewood, it's definitely going to cut down the time needed to season that stuff out. And with this ShelterLogic Greenhouse-in-a-Box, I'm going to be able to get a whole lot more drying down at once compared to my old process. So thanks again to Derek over there at ShelterLogic for sending me this ShelterLogic Greenhouse-in-a-Box. All right, so I'm gonna go take a quick dip in the pool to cool down. We'll see you guys tomorrow night on the Back 40 Friday Night live stream at 8 p.m. Central. Tune in, kick off the weekend, hang out with us Woodhounds. It's gonna be, I think, another hot one. So yeah, I think it's gonna feel good to just sit back, relax, and enjoy the evening. So we'll see you at 8 p.m. Central tomorrow night on the live stream. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, have fun, and be cool.